guys, here we go, Monday. Missed you guys last Monday. I was on the road a little bit and I couldn't make it, and I have another announcement to make, is that, I asked all you guys about, doing a plastic surgery and nip and tuck, and everybody said no. My family, everybody. And I did it again. I got my nip and tuck. So the guy was great. This is what you're seeing right now. This is a week away. I got some stitches out this morning, and Wednesday they'll take the rest of them out. There's 1 or 2 little more procedures, and I'm done. I didn't want to look 40 when I'm fucking 79. I wanted to look 68, 69, a little refreshed. I'm going to do a lot of interviews in the near future from what I understand. So I wanted that refreshed look. That's all I wanted, and I got it. And I jumped into this is the holiday season, and I'm on fire. I love it. A lot of good things are happening, and my team is taking off, and there's a few things I'm going to make. Amina make an announcement about we're going to be shot. So some people are going to be gone. Mostly everybody will be gone, but me. So Amina, tell them what's going on.
Hey, boss. How was your weekend?
Very good.
Good. Okay. Well, so everybody, just a couple of announcements real quick before we get into questions. The last day to place your orders to receive them before New Year would be Wednesday, the 20th. So make sure you guys put that in there before Wednesday. Also, we're going to be closing the office and being on hiatus until January 2nd when we return. So if you guys email or put in orders or anything, just know that you probably won't get a response or your packages until after the new year. You ready?
Yes. Very, very good.
And on that note.
And on that note, really, we're going to start up with, there was a couple of things that were not answered. So I'm going to start with that as usual first. So ask me the questions that weren't answered.
Yep, let's get into that. Okay, so we have Mr. Tenineva. Sammy, do you like Christmas? And what was Christmas like when you were in the mob? What types of foods did you guys eat? What did you guys do?
Listen, I love Christmas. It's a great holiday. The kids, family comes in from all over, uncles, cousins. That's the way it was for us. Food, it was nonstop. We would sit at the table, Italians, a lot of people sit down for hours on end. There's an antipasta, then there's pasta, then there's meat, and then there's this and that. There's not peanuts, it's the other thing, chestnuts, and fruit that comes out, a little bit of wine. Italians making their wine down the basement. So we bring it out. We know we're not going to get caught on Christmas, so we bring it out. And they're great, great times. Even in the mob, a lot of clubs have their own Christmas parties. One year, Paul Castellano invited me and my wife to his house for a Christmas party. There was about 15, 18, 20 guys, plus his family and stuff. It was really, really nice. I think that's the year that I gave him a fucking butterfly. I think of that story. I think of that story. I want to choke my wife. I didn't know what to get her. I didn't have a lot of money, so I went around and we stopped in a place that sold antiques, and there was a big jar full of dead butterflies, but they were all spread out beautiful on branches. It was beautiful. So he says, get her that, she told me. He probably don't get this kind of stuff. He'll love it. His wife will love it. And I'll never forget, I brought it to his house, and when he unwrapped it, he said, "They're dead butterflies?" I knew I fucked up. So there was guys giving them envelopes this big, 20,000, 30,000. I brought them fucking butterflies. So that's one of my butterfly days. And but Paul got used to me with these weird things I would do. So, but it was great, Mafia-wise and everything. It was very festive in everybody's house you went. You went in, you know, you're friendly with guys and their maid guys and their wives and their kids, and it's the only time you really grabbed the wife, hugged her, gave her a kiss. You know she's putting up with a lot. It just was so warm. It was such a good thing. Little pinch on the ass, never hurt. You know, Christmas time, nobody got mad those days. But
Do they decorate outside the home too, or was it
oh,
just
they decorated. I had a professional guy come in and decorate my whole house. It would cost me. They would come in with the lights, trees, all kinds of things. They would decorate the whole thing. There was 2 years, I think, that my house was actually in a newspaper, the Staten Island Advance. They sent reporters, took pictures of my house and put it in the paper. So it was really done beautifully.
Very nice. Thank you. Okay, Dave Van Etten. What's your coffee brand at home? K-cups or a pot? Decaf or regular? You drink a lot, so I thought, you might have found a decent brand, he says.
Yeah, it's in that machine. What's the name of that machine?
It's a K-cup, the Keurigs.
A K-cup, a Curia, and little pods I put in there. I like, believe it or not, I like
Dunkin'.
Dunkin' Donuts, coffee, regular, and I put them in, and 1, 2, 3, it's done. I don't add sugar or milk or anything like that. Once in a blue moon, I'll add a little bit of vodka, or I just pour a little bit of vodka. It makes it sweet, so I'm not putting sugar or anything like that in it. I must drink 6, 7 of those a day.
Easily.
Without a doubt, right?
Easily.
I mean, they're saying easily because they're buying it, But I like that brand. It's a good brand. I used to love going to Dunkin' Donuts, buy their donuts and stuff like that. Now we found another place. What's the name of that place? Bosa, yeah, Bosa. They make great stuff, really, really good stuff. But before that, I used to go to Dunkin' Donuts, get coffee, donuts, stuff all the time. So I got used to it. I know there's better brands, fancy brands, and all that bullshit, but I'm not a fancy pants guy type of guy.
Okay, we have a question from John Semp. Sammy, do you still talk to maid guys?
Yes, I do. I don't say their names because I don't want to put them on the spot. They're not supposed to talk to you when you cooperate, call you a rat, this, that, and the other thing. But a lot of guys know my story. A lot of guys know I'm not a rat. There's a lot of people I helped, not only while I was in the mob, but after I cooperated. I tested against the government for guys getting out of jail. I'm working now on prison reform, trying to get people out of jail. Bobby Manna, I've been fighting to try and get him out. He's 94 years old. He's got 36 years in prison. So a lot of guys and people respect that. They know what happened between me and John. I don't want to get into that whole story again. I felt I was betrayed, and I walked away from the life. I had enough of it, and I walked away from him. I walked into the government's hands. I didn't think I was going to be in there long because they were the enemy as far as I was concerned, but I got to like them, trust them. I know them for years. Like this, I'll be making calls to a gang of them and their families to wish them a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. A lot of good guys. Great agents that I met. I was lucky. Maybe I met the cream of the crop. They have a job to do like we have a job to do. As long as they don't twist the stories or try to put people away in a corrupt way, I don't dislike what they do. That's their job. And luckily I didn't deal with any agents like that. And my thing was they would tell me, tell the truth. Sam, that's all we want. We'll never be mad at you. And there's a lot of times that I did tell the truth that hurt their cases. They never got mad at me. They still talk to me. They're still friends. And when they would say, why do you want to testify for this guy or that guy? I said, because you told me to tell the truth. I don't think the guy's involved. I think the charges are bogus. It's not fair. So if I'm asked by the defense, I'm gonna talk about it. I'm actually gonna do a program about some lawyer who worked for Frankie LaCasio. There's a whole story about it. He's a piece of shit. He should have had it. He shouldn't even be a lawyer. John Gotti threatened him not to ask me certain questions. I didn't. The guy got convicted on a murder. that he had nothing to do with. And they know, the government knew, everybody knew I was going to tell the truth, and Frankie would have never got convicted on that particular murder. But his lawyers never asked me the question, and it's their fault that he was convicted. Then I helped Frankie. I have documents and stuff, which when I tell the story, I'm going to show the documents, I'm going to show everything. So.
Okay. We have Jimmy Gift. Hey, Sammy and team. Did the Greeks have their own gang in New York?
The Greeks, I know of a lot of Greeks who are affiliated with the Mafia, good guys, real tough guys. I don't know if they had their own thing. You got to remember, I know this guy Max who owns Arrivederci, a good friend of mine. These guys were in their countries. They're not Mafia guys, but they fought when they were in wars with the underground. It's just as much as the Mafia, actually more. You're in a war zone. You're fighting soldiers and you're fighting people. And they came to the United States and they've made friends. I'm friends with Max. I'm friends with some Greeks. Real tough guys. They're not Mafia dudes, but they're good men.
Bonita Applebaum wants to know, hey, Sammy, do you have any advice on raising a son alone?
I'm raising a son alone. Now, when he was born, if you didn't get an exchange ticket, that you can't go back and exchange him for somebody else's son, you're stuck. Listen, it's not an easy job for a woman alone. They have to work, they have to cook, they have to clean, they have to take care of a son, they have to do so many things. It's not an easy job. My heart goes out to you. But guys love their moms, and he'll love you. He'll give you a hard time. That's just in him. I gave my mom a hard time. I love the ground that she walked on, and I miss her intensely. So know that that's what'll happen with you. You'll have hard times, but you have to get through that. You know, you're born strong. You're born to have children. You're born strong. Stay strong. I pray for you. If I could ever say anything to you or for you to help you in any way, I would. If you want your son to talk to me, if he's a little crazy, I will be willing to talk to him. I do that a lot, quite a bit. So it's not an easy job.
That's really sweet, Sammy. Okay, I have a couple of emails real quick, and then we can turn it over. Hey, Sammy. First off, thanks for the birthday message last week, and happy 33rd anniversary to the day for when you and John were arrested in the Ravenite. Mind you, this email was sent by Matt. It was December 9th is when he sent it in. So 33rd anniversary to the day on December 9th.
Today.
No, on the 9th. This is when he sent it because last week we didn't have a live, remember?
Right, okay.
So he says, so it's Matt. Matt sends this. He says, hey, Sammy, first off, thanks for the birthday message last week. Happy 33rd anniversary to the day for when you and John were arrested in the Ravenite. After the Castellano hit and the Capos voted John in, did anyone not vote for John? Can I also give a shout out to Amina for being an amazing host and going above and beyond for arranging international post for my signed photo. All the best. Thank you, Matt.
She thanks you. I thank you for recognizing my team's work. So I like that. Getting back to the original question was nobody. He put himself up as running for the boss to the captains. That's the way it's done. There's no captain who opposed him. And you got to remember another thing. They knew it was a violent takeover. While they were voting, me and Angelo Ruggiero were in the room. I was behind half of them with a gun. Angelo was behind the other half with a gun. I don't think it was a secret that we had guns. I think you would have had to be crazy to say, no, I don't want him to be the boss. I want to be the boss, or oppose him, or get really vocal, because you would have been carried out. These guys are not stupid. So they all voted him in. Whether they liked him, disliked him, You had the fear factor in that room.
Okay, great. We have one last one from Colby. He sent an email asking, did Sammy ever hear anything about JFK and any of his relationships with made guys? Also, another question to branch off of that would be, what did he think of the JFK assassination when it first happened, and how has that opinion changed over the years with more and more information coming out on it?
You're right. Over the years, I knew a lot about it back then. I didn't realize how much I knew. I didn't know what was hearsay and what was truth. Over the years, I've confirmed a lot of things, found out more things. I know a lot about it. Yesterday I was with Patrick McDavid and a group of guys who did work, research on the JFK. They started talking to me about it. I started talking back. One of the guys was completely blown away. He said, Sammy, we have to get together. You know, he took my number, Anna's number, and my number. And he said, we got to get together. He says, between me and you, I think we know exactly what happened. So I'm going to do this either way. I'm going to do it about the JFK hit. I think I actually can solve the hit. I know it sounds crazy, but believe me, I have that kind of information and history. And then I'm going to do the history of the Mafia. So I don't know if I'm going to do it in that part when I talk about the history of the Mafia, which is to come on my new website. And or I'll do an individual thing about the Kennedy assassination. It's a dangerous conversation to have. Most people who knew and found out are dead. So some people are already advising me, Sammy, you know too much, drop it. I did a video on Instagram, I believe it was, and I talk about the JFK thing with some music, the whole 9 yards. And I do know a lot more than I knew back then. You gotta remember, I was 18 years old when he was killed. I never forget it, I was home. My mother called me up, Sammy, what are you doing? I said, I was sleeping. She says, get up. Why? She said, they just killed the President of the United States. I said, Ma, I got nothing to do with it. She said, I know you dumb bastards. I know you got nothing to do with it. Watch the news. So I remember I was 18. I remember I was joking, and she didn't take it as a joke. She didn't like it. It started then. I was with the Gambino family eventually. There was a lot of knowledge from that area. Sam Giancana from Chicago, Carlos Masala from Louisiana, Trevor Conti from Florida, and they were talking with Carlo Gambino. Carlo Gambino's right-hand man was Toto Borello, and Toto would talk to me. But back then, I just thought he was talking hypothetical bullshit that everybody was talking. I find out through the years, it wasn't so much hypothetical. It was real stuff. Although he didn't say to me, you know, I'm going to tell you who did it or this, that. He didn't do it that way. But he did talk from knowledge, not just hypothetical stuff. And I know it now. I knew it then, but it didn't mean anything back to me then. I heard about the killing of the death of Marilyn Monroe, and it wasn't a death, it was a killing. I remember as a kid, I loved Marilyn Monroe like every other young boy. And I said, Toto, we killed Marilyn Monroe? Why would we do something like that? And he explained that to me with clarity. I understood it then. Now I understand exactly what he was saying, and I actually know who killed him.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sammy. All right. Just a quick shout out to Rudy and everybody in this chat. I see all of your chats coming in. Just want to remind everybody to please be respectful when you're in the chat. And I will now turn it over to my beautiful Anna.
playing musical chairs over here. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Here's Sammy.
All right.
Yeah, that was a fascinating conversation at the table yesterday with Patrick and his team. Thomas, that guy is
Yes.
almost-
Anna came to me, by the way, came with me to the meeting. We took some pictures. We put them out. Did we put them out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we put them out. You'll see Patrick McDavid's partner. She's another thing. I never knew he had a partner all these years. I met him for the first time yesterday, and a whole bunch of real heavyweight guys. We had a great conversation. We were in a great restaurant. We had brunch, steak, and everything was great. I mean, the food was good. Being together was good. I really like Patrick a lot. We talked about Michael Franchise. He asked me a lot about him. I said, listen, we're good friends. You know, I got his back with a lot of things. I got to like him a lot. I like his family. I love his wife, his kids. I got to know them now. And they're all good people. And I was joking when somebody says, you got a whole bunch of daughters. Why don't you sell one of your daughters to me and I'll give you my son. They can get married. We'll have loyalty. There'll be a prince and a princess. So he started laughing. He loves my son. He says, he keeps breaking my chops. Give me a release. I'll have him with me, like the old days. So I said, all right, I'll talk to my son about it. So
Hilarious.
yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, they're chopping it up. I'm going to jump right into these super chats because we do have a few. Sammy. Sergi, wow, what a very generous super chat. Hey, Sammy, we super admire and love you and your content. I appreciate that you own your story and you are a real and honest person. I have a pharmacy here in Romania. Can you tell me 2 to 3 things that you think are important in business?
Honesty is important. People have to trust you when you're in business. They don't know. I was about to sell drugs, not drugs, regular drugs. Nutraceuticals. And I was talking to a guy, and he was talking about, he sent me some stuff, some product, so I could see it, maybe take it. And I saw that the date was expired by 1 day, 2 days. So I said, it's expired. He said, it doesn't matter. They won't know. They don't even know. As soon as he said that, I knew I wasn't going to go partners with him, and I wasn't going to do it. And a guy like this is never going to make it in life. When you go in, you're looking to rob people right away. That's the worst thing you can do. You know, like I said, trust, being honorable, helping people. People will love you. They'll buy your product. They'll trust you. But I get advertisers. Some people want me to advertise food. And I tell them all the time, give me it. Let me eat it. I want to eat it. I want to see how it tastes. If I think it tastes like shit, I'll tell the guy, you want me to tell the truth? I'm going to say the food tastes like shit. You want to buy it? Buy it. That's not an advertisement. Well, then I'm not going to advertise. I'm not going to say, I like this. This is great. They're going to taste it. They're going to say, either Sammy's lying or he has no sense of taste. So those things I think are important. You know, you got to be honest when you're talking to people. It's easy to be dishonest and bullshit to people, but you're not going to get away with that over a long period of time. You know, I buy shoes and things online. A lot of times it's going to do this and that. I get it in. I like to go to a brick and mortar store and go buy sneakers, try them on, see if I like them, see if they're comfortable. Because once you get them in, they don't want to. They say they're going to take them back. They take them back, but a lot of times they don't want to. So honesty and integrity and trust should be your first, middle, and last name in business. People have to trust you. I tell guys when I helped a few guys start podcasts, and when I helped them, I told them a lot of these people who go for Q&As or listen to your podcasts or whatever, they're not stupid. They're not mob guys or women. They understand the mob. They've done research. They've watched things for years. And their camera shows what you are. So if you're going to start a podcast, you're going to do something, tell the truth. Stay as close to the truth as you can. first of all. Second of all, who's going to remember if you start lying over and over again? Who's going to remember all those lies? So if you don't do those things, and I know guys out there, they get 10,000 hits, 15,000 hits. You get a guy like Michael Franchise gets 300, 400, 500,000 hits. I get a couple 100,000 hits. They know when you're bullshit. So integrity and honesty is a big thing, no matter what kind of business you're in, whether it's a YouTube channel, whatever it is.
Thank you, Sammy. Hell yeah. There you go, Sergio. Tublevas. Sammy, some guys didn't get made until they were in their 50s or 60s. Was it tough for them taking orders from a captain who was a lot younger?
Well, generally, what happened, those guys who got made late in life, the books were closed in 1955 or 57. They didn't open up again until 1975. So that's 20 years. So if, let's say a guy was 30 years old and the books were closed, he couldn't get made. So he had to wait those 20 years. He wasn't 30 no more, he was in his 50s. So that's the reason why. When they opened it in 75, they wanted to open it up again. They wanted to make 10 guys in each family, the 5 New York families. And they did. I wasn't in that batch. Frankie DeChico was in that batch. They closed it again. They met the commission. They said it worked good. It was perfect. They reopened it again in 76. I think I was made in the second batch or third batch, but I was made in 76. John Gotti was made in 77, I believe. So that's what made that gap in between ages. So more than likely, there wasn't captains in their 30s. There were captains who were in their 50s and 60s already. So they didn't have that type of thing. Now, I became Tato's acting captain. I was made in 76. In 77, he made me in a Christmas party his acting captain. Now, there were guys who were older than me, so I'll get to that part of your question. Like, everybody was shocked I was just made. Not only my age, but I was just made. In a year from them, I had some of those old timers coming to me and saying, Tato made the right choice, Sammy. You're a good man. So it's how you conduct yourself. I always gave an old man respect, no matter what rank he was in the Mafia or in life. Older people warrant the respect of getting to that point in life. You owe them the ability to do that. And if you're going to come in like a hot shot and be abusive to people who are much older than you, how much of a man are you, and how much are people going to respect you? They're not. So I always respected people for their age, not just their position. Of course, Cosa Nostra, you have to respect the position of a man. A boss, an underboss, a consigliere. Those positions, a captain, are there for a reason. So you have to respect it. Now, there's been guys who were abusive in those positions, and so be it. That's why there was murders and there was all kinds of different things. But I think that you have to respect age. You know, now I'm doing things, big things, social media. I'm going to make a movie. I go to a gym every day. I'll see a couple coming in, especially an older couple. Well, I'm old too, but I hold the door. Instead of walking in, I could see them coming. They're 15 feet away. I stay there. I leave the door open. That smile, that pleasant things. Oh, thank you so much. Because they figured I would just walk in. So, and I tell them, listen, I'm in no rush. I'm retired. So a little kind word back and forth does a lot of good for people, for yourself. So when I go in, that little smile I got, and then we hit a second door. They get to the door before me because I let them in, and they wait and turn around and open the door for me. It's a beautiful way to start your day, your life, to walk around with respect and be respected. Not that I think I'm King Tut, you got to open the door for me, you're a peasant, I'm not. I don't buy that kind of person or personality, and I'm not that. at all.
Nice. Thank you, Sammy. Thank you. J. Marie is speaking like a true researcher and interviewer. J. Marie, hey. Sammy, as a gift to your fans, can you give us some clues on the projects being worked on? I know you can't be specific, but drop us some hints about what's coming up regarding your story.
J. Marie, you're a good man. You're my friend. And yes, I'm going to drop you a few facts. I can't go overboard. I can't go too far. You signed these DNAs and everything like that. I'm about to do the story of my life like The Sopranos on steroids, because a lot of my story is fact. The Sopranos was great. I'm not knocking it at all. I loved it. But it's mostly fiction. Mine is mostly truth to it. Of course, Hollywood always sticks their 2 cents in. So I'm working on that scripted story of my life. I'm also doing potentially a movie on the Johnny Keys. And another thing, some crime stories. That's totally, I can't talk about. So there's a bunch of things I'm doing in Hollywood right now. And that's why I wanted to do a little nip and tuck. Because in these agreements, I'm going to have to go on talk shows, stuff like that, actors, actresses, or people in my position. I'm bound in the contract to do those things and to talk about the movie and stuff like that. So I wanted to do a little nip and tuck to look a little fresh, a little refreshed. I'll be 79. I told the plastic surgeon, I don't want to look 40. I look like a clown. If I look 69, if I look 10 years younger and refreshed, that's all you got to do. So don't go crazy. Don't pull the skin. Don't do this. Don't do that. Leave my lips alone. That's reserved for women. And don't touch my nose. Don't go crazy. Do a little nip and tuck. I think you did a good job. I'm happy with it. This is only 1 week away. I went out of town and I came back. I did this. And so this is 1 week away. I still don't have all the stitches out. By Wednesday, I'll have all the stitches out. And then there's a few other small little steps. In about a month and a half after that, 2 months, I'm done. That's all I wanted, just to be a little refreshed, knowing I'm going to go on a late night talk show. I want to look decent for my age. That's what it's about. And so I took a shot. I'm going to say the guy's name, not now, but at my next interview. He's a great plastic surgeon. I could say his name, but maybe we could put a link to it later on, his address and all. Dr. Shapiro. Dr. Shapiro is one of the best plastic surgeons in Arizona. And I found out that plastic surgeons, when they want to get their wife done, they send their wife to him to do. Now that's a big honor. That's something that, got my attention big time. And he's great. He listens to you. You tell him you want just a nip and tuck, you want it deeper, he listens to you. And he understands, because he's up in age. He says, I know, you don't want to look like a kid. It'll look clownish. It won't look real. You just want to look refreshed. If it gets rid of a wrinkle or two, good. A little bit under here, that thing, and that chicken thing. So I'm stopping. I don't do that no more.
Turkey.
Got rid of that.
Gobbler.
Gobble, gobble.
Yeah, gobble gobble. So he did a few things like that. I think the world of him and his staff and his team. Like I said, I was there this morning, got some stitches out. Wednesday, I'll get the rest. Month and a half, 2 months, I'm finished. And great job. And he's even some plastic surgeons. When I was there at one of the meetings, come down, he was about to do an operation. They watch him while he's working.
Oh, wow.
Now that's top of the line. He was a young plastic surgeon, and he's watching this guy work. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, his name is Dr. Shapiro. I'm going to get a link and put it to the bottom. You ever want to get in touch with him? This is not a commercial, so you're not going to get a break as far as price, I don't think, but you're welcome to mention my name. Sammy sent us. He told us you were great. He gets a lot of people from out of state who come in. We bunked into Amina, right, Amina?
Yep.
We bumped into 2 people. Where were they from?
I think they were from the East Coast, New
Yes.
York, and I think the other place was North Carolina.
I think it was North Carolina.
Yeah.
So they're in North Carolina. They were in the parking lot when I was there, and they were coming, and they started asking me questions, and I asked a few. So they were from North Carolina. They were recommended from their doctor in North Carolina to come to him in Arizona. So they're going to be here for a couple of days. This guy's he's a heavyweight. So if you need a plastic surgeon, you want to come to him, that's who it is. And I'll give you all the rest. If you don't get the information that you want, anytime you want to get in touch with me about him, I'll tell you about it and I'll give you the information. Like I said, I'm not getting paid for this, it's not a commercial. I'm just telling you what I did and how I feel about him. So,
Yeah.
and
Us
it's
next.
some of his nurses. They're so nice.
The nurses?
His nurses are gorgeous.
Hello, nurse. Okay, let's see. Elgato, salute, Sammy. What is your favorite steakhouse in New York City?
There was a lot of them. You know, I got a soft spot for Sparks because I did a little work there. So Sparks, aside from the Castellano hit, Sparks is a great steakhouse. But there's Peter Luger's. Peter Luger's is not so high end. The food is fantastic, the steaks. They buy a lot of meat, they butcher it themselves. They leave it hang for months where it starts to get remold on it. Then they carve all of that off, but the steak on the inside is like butter when you get it. Peter Luger's. It's not a fancy joint, great, but a great joint. It's in a little bit of a rough neighborhood, so wear a bulletproof vest when you go there.
Might be your last meal.
But and there's so many, you know, New York has a lot of great Italian, French, everything restaurant. You have to be great. They're great restaurants. If you can't compete with them, if you don't put out good food, you're not going to last in New York. Now, Mulberry Street's got a ton of great places, and you'll love that area on Mulberry Street. It's Little Italy, and it's very festive all the time. Even holidays, it's really festive. And they have a lot of famous, you know, bakeries that have cannolis they make. They're noted for it. So a lot of places in New York.
Sammy, have you been to the Little Italy? And it doesn't compare to New York, but there's a Little Italy in San Diego, downtown San Diego. Have you been down there?
Yes.
Oh.
I went to, not San Diego. Yeah. I was in there for a while when I went on vacation once, and there's a Little Italy over there. I passed through it. I went through it. There was a neighborhood who had an old-fashioned church. I went into the church. I lit some candles, said some prayers. I mean,
Awesome.
you know, it was good. I haven't been in church for a long, long time. So when I went and I was passing it, it was an old-fashioned church. I just had an urge to go in. I went in, went by a saint. They had the candles where you light the stick and you light the candles and you make a contribution. I put $10 in and took 50 out. Or I put 50 in and took that out. I don't know what I did.
Oh my gosh. Shadow 511. Merry Christmas, Sammy and the crew. Weekly envelope.
Thank you, Mary.
Dana Hearn, I'm wishing you and your family a very Merry Christmas. Thank you for sharing your stories with us, Sammy.
Thank you, Dana.
Let's see. Nate, when did you first find out that the apartment above the Ravenite was bugged?
When we got busted.
Ah, okay.
When we got busted, on the way to I didn't know, Frankie didn't know, but on the way to jail, John Gotti was boasting about he's not going to get convicted. Your mother won't convict her. He was telling George Gabriel. George Gabriel says, no, you don't know my mother. She's a Greek. She's an immigrant. She don't like you. And John, one thing you should learn, up in Mary's apartment, I think her name was, I think you talked a little too much. John almost had a fucking heart attack. He knew right then and there in the car with George Gabriel that it was the bug, the apartment was bugged. And we found out, me and Frankie, right after that.
Damn. I
Yeah.
think that's in your first episode, season 1, episode 1. Go watch our thing, guys. Go rewatch it before these movies and these shows come out. Amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Ooh.
great stuff.
Steve Jackson, Merry Christmas, Sammy and the crew. Sammy, back in the day, who were your bodyguards and why did you choose them?
Well, I didn't really have an, specific bodyguard. I think my whole crew was very intense around me. I had a driver. Louis Cicenti wasn't really a bodyguard. I think if shooting or something started, I would see him running down the block screaming, ah, running away. So he wasn't really a bodyguard. But Nicky Cowboy, Michael Labatt, Stymie, of course, Stymie's son Joey, after Stymie was killed. Louis Melito before there was a problem. I think everybody was very, very tight with me. When Big Louis Valerio became a captain and I was promoted later in life, Big Louis was very protective of me. Vinny Oil was a guy in the crew. He wasn't made. But I think all of them guys, I think I had such a relationship. They didn't want me to get hurt. They were all over me. But I never had a bodyguard like you're my bodyguard or you come with me. I mean, if you came after me and you bunked into my crew, you would have got hit by 10 guys. And I mean hit with your hands or hit with shots. They weren't going to let you touch me.
Damn. Thank you, Sammy. Kay Walker, did you like the Witness to the Mob film about you, Sammy?
No, I think it was cheaply done. I saw the kid who played me. He was on a show with Michael Franchise, and he said, they never gave me any material about him. So, I know now the industry, it's really hard to do. See, a guy's going to play me, let's say in my movie. He's going to sit with me. He's going to see how I move my hands, how I talk. He's going to want to see me get mad, growl a little bit, what kind of a person I am. He's going to listen to all my podcasts. He's going to have interviews, everything. He's going to read my book. He's going to become me. Now, that's one of my jobs, I'm being told. So when I sit down with him, I will correct any little thing. Listen, that's not me. I don't act like that. Hey, you, come here. I don't talk like that. Or I don't do that. Don't play that kind of role with me, bro. So I don't blame the guy. He wasn't, I think he was a good actor.
Nick Turturro.
Yeah, he's a good actor. I'd love to have an interview with him myself because I sympathize that they didn't give him the stuff. And I think for not getting anything, I think he just hearsay, I think he did a pretty good job. I don't think the writing was great. It's not on the level that I'm working now. So, and some of it was okay, but most of it I didn't, there's a lot of things I didn't do or say, and so I don't know. That turns me off. Listen, I love a movie. That's what I loved about Goodfellas. And a few of the movies I saw, I knew the crew, the Paul Vario crew with Goodfellas. I knew most of them guys. They were on the money a little bit. Like I said, Hollywood blows it up. They're making a movie. They want to do entertainment. I get it. But they were pretty factual in that. They did things I see that Nick Pileggi did, and he's very interested when he's talking to you. Nick Pileggi's a friend of mine. He'll be 91 in February. He's on one of my projects. Matter of fact, he's on both of them. But he's very, very interested in fact. When he talks to me, he looks up everything I say. So I like that. Because he says, there's nothing like watching a movie that's pure fact. If you get the right actors and actresses and the right writers, and you get a real ton of fact in it, there's more interest in the show. So, and I agree with that. So I like the way he writes. There's another guy, Terry Winters, another major writer, great writer, and he does the same type of thing. Terry Winter, Nick Pileggi, they were all born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Matter of fact, one day talking with Nick Pileggi, he said his mother and his father owned a clothing factory, coats and stuff like that. He said, Sammy, for the life of me, I think back, I remember your mother. My father had asked for help. Your mother was a seamstress, right? I said, yeah, and they owned a little factory on 15th Avenue. And he said, she helped my family. I said, wow, what a fucking small world. My mother, as a seamstress, helped Nick Pileggi's family. That's a beautiful thing. So those are really beautiful things. And when they come out of New York, you know, you have to have that Brooklyn accent. We have our own accent. So when you're making a movie, all of those things, truth, having the right accent. I see some movies they make and the guy talks so dumb. And mafiosos don't talk that dumb. I mean, we're not the brightest guys in the world, but you know, this is so over exaggerated
like
that it's not good.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Thank you, Sammy. Well, Ryan Brown wants to know, Sammy, is it true you went to Teddy Atlas and asked him to look out for Gerard because you were getting indicted and you didn't want him involved with the life?
Yeah, that part is true. I knew Teddy Atlas myself. He's a good trainer. He was training other people, but he was a good trainer. And I wanted, my son's a good-natured kid. He's tough with his hands, but I wanted him to have that boxing training. It's a healthy training. And I didn't want him in the mob. So I gave him over to Teddy to help train, and he did. He worked with Teddy Atlas, and he trained with him. I think he got along good. But it was more for sport. I don't think my son even wanted to go in the ring. I mean, he went in a couple times, but I don't think he didn't want to fight. He definitely didn't want to kill anybody. He's a good-natured kid. And he went to prison. He did some time. And I know in time he had a couple of fights in there that he really hurt people. So he can go with his hands and everything. And I think every man has to know how to protect themselves. So it's just a father trying to protect their son. Was nothing special about it. But I definitely didn't want my son into life. You know, if your kid is a gangster growing up, you could see the kid is just a bad kid. So some guys make their son to bring them in to calm them down, actually, because now they got to live by rules. But if your son isn't just a wild Indian, why would I bring him into the mob knowing that he's going to have a target on his back from the FBI, he's going to have to kill or be killed? Why would I want him in the mob? I didn't want my son in the mob. When I watched my daughter growing up, I think I wanted her in the mob. She's a little bit more of a toughie.
She would have went to underboss real fast. Yeah. She would have went to boss for sure. Dave Van Eaton, was a .357 your favorite caliber? I recall mentioning that you had one in your nightstand.
Yes, when I got arrested in Arizona, I had a .357. It wasn't in my nightstand. It was on my bed with me. I had the pillow, my face, my dog, and the gun. And I had other guns in there. A .357 Magnum is an extremely powerful gun. I'll give you an example. A car could be coming down 20, 30 miles an hour. You shoot it right in the front. Boom, boom, boom. You could almost blow the fucking motor apart. So imagine how powerful this gun is. It's high for the velocity. The speed of the bullet is very powerful. So when this thing hits you, it'll knock you 5 feet back. So it's a kill machine in itself. So that in my hand, I'm a trained assassin. You're in trouble. And I want to, if I'm going to be in something, I'm going to stand my ground and I'm going to point and I want to knock you down. I'm not going to be hiding behind a car. I don't do that. So it's a very powerful kill machine.
Wow. Lights out Hasim Rockman?
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. Thank you, Sam. Isn't that Dirty Harry's gun, Clint Eastwood?
No, he had a .44 Magnum.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, that's one step above. There's 357 and there's 44
Oh my
Magnum.
gosh.
You know, but 44 Magnum, I mean, you knock down a moose with this thing. That's how strong these things are. A 400, 500, 600, 700 pound moose.
Good Lord.
Imagine a 150, 200 pound man. They'll knock you through the wall.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Matthew, hi Sammy, big fan. Whatever happened to the Concrete Club? Did it end after Paul got whacked and the other bosses got indicted in the mid 80s since the government knew about it then?
Yes, it did. It ended. The government went in and took over unions, took over associations, and the whole thing fell apart. And mostly everybody who was involved went to prison. So the whole thing was over. They lost the unions. They went in, took over unions, got rid of the union bosses that were being controlled. The whole thing fell apart.
Nice. Thank you. So Sergio, with another very generous super chat for you, wrote a rap song for you, Sammy. It's a little bit like a soliloquy, not so much Shakespearean. Hope you like the rap song I made. It starts like this. Oh my God, willy-nilly. Paul was supporting Nikki and Philly, but I had to be a soldier. I had to follow orders. But don't mention it to me, please. The night we murdered Jay Keys.
Nice. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice.
I had to read it. It was a C note. Ryan Brown, Amina, Annie, Amina, I'm Annie, this is Daddy Warbucks. Amina, Anna, and the team, keep up the great work.
Appreciate you, and they are. I mean, this team is 2 people here can doing the job of 10.
Amen, brother. Yeah.
You know, and that takes talent, and work ethics. They work hard. They come in sometimes stay late, come in early. Well, Anna.
What? Excuse you.
Well, you got 2
Front
little
Street.
rabbits, so.
Yeah. My rabbit's 23.
I'm here early in the morning. Thank you very much.
All right.
Sammy, we had a really interesting question come in. I'm going to keep the name anonymous, but they wanted to know, is it true that you hung out with White Boy Rick and Fat Cat Nichols in Witsec?
Absolutely. It's absolutely true. I was with my man Fogarty. It was a bunch of us. I was with, that's where I was with Philly and Eddie. You know, Philly and Eddie was there first when I rolled into that prison. When they opened up the big gate, I had a bag and I was coming in. And Phil was there with about 6, 7 guys out of Philadelphia. They were all in prison together.
Oh my God.
And he welcomed me to the table. He had his own table. He was an underboss. And he said, one of the guys said, you know, this guy sits here, here, here. This is your chair. And Phil said, no. You sit over here, Sammy, at the head of the table. So I said, no, that's your chair. And he said, no, Sammy, I'm not you. You sit there and I'll sit next to you over here. And he sat with me there. White Boy Rick was, they did a movie about him. He was one of the guys, youngest guys that the government ever convinced to be working for them. I think he was 14 years old. He was working undercover. He went against judges, cops, prosecutors, drug dealers. He was married to a black broad. I became very close with him. I hope to talk to him soon, actually. I haven't talked to him in a very long time. They used to call him my unadopted son. I was like this with him. He really, I was like his idol. He was up my ass all the time. I had an argument with an Italian guy who was at our table. I won't even mention his name. He was from Jersey, the Lucchese family, and he was a cocky prick. And one day I was sitting at the table. I said, do me a favor, get up. Get up and go over there. Where? With the Puerto Rican guys. Go sit with them. Why would I do that, Sam? Because I don't want you at the table. I don't like the way you talk. I don't like the way you handle yourself. So go over there. There was some seats open. Not that they're any less than us, but there was some seats open. I sit with them. And he did. He got off our table. He looked at Phil Leonetti, and Philly said, you heard him, get up. And he walked. And Fat Cat Nichols was a black guy. He had a bunch of a crew around him, and they had table 1, and then table 2 was us. And then there was a table 3, and then tables went in the middle on the other side. So yeah, he was a good kid, a great kid. You know, he got married twice, I think, in prison. Oh, wow. He was divorced from his wife, and she was a black woman, and he hung out with all black guys. That's who gave him the name White Boy Rick. He was one of them. And then while he was on, he did a long bit, and he told me he wanted me to come to his wedding one day. And I said, when we get out? He said, no, here. How do you get married in jail? What do you mean come to your wedding? They're not going to throw a wedding for you. So they get married, but they get married alone on the side with a chaplain or something. I can't go. They're just them. And but it was weird. Then they broke up because these women want to marry some of these guys. He was a good-looking kid. And then he got married again. I said, this fucking guy's in jail. He got married twice and divorced twice. And divorced from the other one. So I got a kick out of him. He was great. Tough kid with his hands, but loyal type of guy. Fat Cat, I enjoyed his company too. I got along with him good. I was in one cell. He was in the next cell after me. I don't know why maybe on the street he was fat. I don't know why they called him Fat Cat. It was built like a brick shit house. Yeah. Me and Fogarty, my friend Fogarty was there at that time, would jog behind him. I would say, Fogarty, look at his fucking calves. His calves were this big. Because every day he'd run 3-5 miles every single day. And he worked out. When he's in the cell next to me, I would hear him at night. He stole one of the bikes out of the supply room, brought it in his cell, and he would ride the bike as he's watching TV. And he would come to me, he's very respectful. Sammy, does that bother you? No, that's cool. And it don't bother me at all. You know, I just hear a little noise in the background. It don't bother me at all, bro. But he was polite enough to come over. Totally unracial. I never see him in a racial thing. If a black guy came out and they were going to fight somebody and came over to him, no. Don't give me that racial bullshit. It's not about that. It's him and you. You don't like it, you and him fight. There's not going to be 15 guys fighting with you. So he wouldn't feed into none of that racial stuff. Real good guy. If he was your friend, you could have been white, Hispanic, he didn't give a shit.
His neck is huge. His neck is like the girth of a watermelon.
Oh, he was a big dude.
Jeez.
I mean, he might have been fat on the street, but in prison he was ripped. He worked out every day, jogged every day, worked out every day, and he was a mild-mannered guy. You know, he went to prison, he killed his parole officer. And then later they killed a cop. They said it was on his orders. So there's a whole story, I won't get into it. And they killed the cop, a young cop. They were protecting a witness. And the witness got away. They killed the young cop. The cop, his brother was an FBI agent. Big case, long story. Someday I'm going to try and reach out for him. I've been trying, a couple of times I tried and then I left it alone. He's doing well. There are a lot of people. They did a movie on him.
Yeah.
White Boy Rick. And
incredible. That'd be an incredible interview.
Yeah. I'll see if I can get him. I don't know. I'll reach out.
Awesome. Red Man with the really good questions. He's got a little bit of a paragraph here. Sammy, I know you've said in the past that other guys in the family would complain to you about several things they didn't like about John. Looking back, could some of these people have been used by John as spies to purposely complain to you about him and go back to John with reports on what your response and stance was? And last, how often did guys in the life do this to get a better pulse on what the streets were thinking about them? Did you ever use it? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
No, I don't think any guys ever came to me to do that. They knew me and John were super close. It's a dangerous thing. When you're going to play between a boss and an underboss, These are people who could give orders that could take you out. It's a very dangerous ploy. Guys are not that stupid. They stay away from stuff like that. I never use ploys like that. You know, we have a feel. I have a feel about people who work for me, whether it's in legitimate business or in the street, who is trustworthy, who's not. There's so many things that'll tell you a tale, you know, if you wait a while and you pay attention. So I never use those ploys. Nicky Scarfo called me one time and told me some shit about John, and I told him I don't talk behind my boss's back. I don't want to talk about it.
Wow.
So I didn't do that stuff. And John was too vain that he knew everything. He don't have to do that with anybody. He didn't.
Yeah.
He was too vain to be smart. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Redman also followed up with, if you get the chance, tell Sammy that I dropped a hamburger the other day and picked it up and served it to my brother. He said it was delicious. The Goombata Alley Boys special. I think he'll know what I'm talking about.
I was just going to say, my Goombata did the same exact thing. I mean, he was to his cousin. We had a small little hamburger place, and his cousin comes in sitting at the counter, and my Goombata's cooking, and he's got the stuff, and I'm at the counter at the register, and he gets the hamburger, he's got the bun, and he turns around, the hamburger went off the spatula, lands on the floor. As he's stepping, he stepped right on it by accident. And he looks at his cousin's looking the other way. He bends over, he picks up the hamburger, puts it back in the bun, puts it on the plate, he gives it to his cousin. I said, bro, you're going to give your cousin the bag. Could get another hamburger. He's fucking, he'll eat shit. I grew up with him. Don't worry about it.
You guys are so bad. Bill C. in the super chat. Merry Christmas to everyone. Take care and stay safe.
Thank you so much, and I agree with that.
Couple more last questions, Sammy, from rthing.tv. Paul C. Hey, Sammy, did you ever take Neil up on his offer and go to the Ravenite to play Pinochle with him and his crew?
I did it once or twice. You're not playing with the whole crew. You're playing with it's either three-handed or four-handed, but four-handed is mostly in prison. There's different ways of playing Pinochle. We were playing three-handed with a pot. So I played with him, another guy, and myself. And his crew was all over the place, but I played like that. And I was pretty good at Pinochle. I played Pinochle all my life. And he was good. Listen, I liked Neil a lot. He was a real tough guy. He saved me one day in a sit-down where I raised my hands to another made guy, Louis DeBono. And but aside from just that one particular thing, everything about him was a good guy. I liked him a lot. He was a no-nonsense, tough guy. He loved Cosa Nostra. I gravitate to people like that. And you don't have to be a tough guy where you hit people or kill people. I mean, there's men who go to work and break their ass, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, every day, go home to their wives. I talked about the wives having a tough time. There's men who have a tough time. They work hard. They break their back. They come home dirty. They take a shower. They eat. They're exhausted. They can't even sit down and have a fucking beer and watch TV a little bit. But I gravitate to people like that. Yeah. I'm not afraid of tough guys. I think I'm one of them. So when I talk to them, I gravitate to them. I have good conversations with them. I laugh with them. I talk with them. I joke a lot. They like that. They do too, you know. So, I had a guy, a real tough guy, and I was telling him that I was going to go for a nip and tuck. He said, Sammy, a lot of people tell you no? Yeah. He said, go, because that's what you want to do, so do it. I said, thanks. He said, you look like my grandmother, so maybe that'll help you a little bit. So guys...
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, guys are tough guys. They talk to each other, goof on each other like that. And we laugh, just like me and you were laughing now. We laugh and we joke. I love people like that.
Yeah.
I'm not too some of these guys woke people there.
Oh, God.
I have very little conversation with them. It's very hard to have a conversation. And...
Yeah.
So,
speaking of, you just mentioned raising your hand to a made guy. Our last question of the day from ourthing.tv. If from who is this? Let's see. C5647. Hey Sammy, question: if a made man raises his hands to an associate that's on record with his or other family, and the associate hits back, is it justified or does the associate get clipped?
The associate is not so. If he knows the other guy's a made guy, no, he's not supposed to raise his hands. But the guy he's with, when an associate is somebody who's not made, but he's with me and he's close to me, and he's in a lot of meetings with me, he's doing a lot of things with me. And we have an expression in the mob, it's not a put down, but he's my dog. You don't fuck with my dog. What, are you going to try to bully my dog because you're a fucking friend? No, come and do that with me, motherfucker. That's my dog. Keep your fucking hands away from my dog. Mm-hmm. So we look at that and we respect that. And if there was a beef, like, I'll give you an example. Joe Watts had an argument with a made guy in the Genovese family in a nightclub in Staten Island. I was there. I was talking with some woman, a couple of women, a biker guy that I knew, and I heard this guy just rip it into Joe Watts. So I went over and I said, hey, bro, what do you want? And I talked real low, and I said, he's real close with Paul. I thinking it would stop. And he said, I don't really give a fuck. And I got between Joe Watts and him. I said, you don't give a fuck what I just told you? He's with a fucking boss. Don't even look at him no more. He's out of it. It's me and you. I'm on the same level. You want to talk to me like that? You want to raise your fucking hands? I just told you he's with a fucking boss. That beef came up, and it went forward. The guy was in the Genovese family. And Paul called me in, heard about the beef. The Genovese people got involved. They sat down. They put the guy on a shelf for weeks or months. Because you can't, once you're made, there's only one way out, is to die. They could take you down from a boss, an underboss, a conseiller, a captain. You can't get taken out of, you could get thrown on the shelf. That's the way you're out. They put him on the shelf for months. And when you go on the shelf, none of the guys in the families hear this whole story. They don't show you respect like they did. You're not to them a friend of ours. You're not a made guy no more. You did something that's not worthy to die for, but we don't want to respect you. You were told by Sammy the Bull, I was in the meeting, that he was with me, Paul said. And you told him, in front of people, you don't give a fuck. Now his boss was sitting there too. He was shitting in his fucking pants.
Wow.
And they took him, they excused me out of the meeting, excused him out of the meeting. I never went back into the meeting, he did. They put him on the shelf. From this point on, nobody's going to recognize you. And we're not going to take you back in anything you do. So it's a serious offense to hit a guy who's a non-friend, or even abuse him, let's just say he did something horrible, but him hitting you, you're in trouble. Something could warrant it if the bad guy did something horrible, and it was a terrible move. So you might not get killed because you raised your hands, but you better say, I didn't know, who he was. I didn't know he was a made guy. But if they know you knew, you're in a tough situation. You better hope the guy who you raised your hands back to is a man's man and wants to let it go. Maybe he realizes he did something wrong. I mean, it happened to me. Sometimes I think if I lost my temper and I did something stupid, I would not want, and the guy did something that he could be in big trouble, I'd back away. It's really my fucking fault. Now I'm going to get the guy killed. I don't want that. I don't want to live with that. So I would back away. So, but I hit Mimi from Coney Island. He was a captain. But I hit him by accident. It was a fight, brawl. One of my friends was being jumped. I grabbed him and I threw a punch. I knew he was dangerous. I would have never did it. It really, the punch was going, it hit him. As soon as it hit him, I said, oh my God, what the fuck did I just do? And, but he was man enough. And he said, did you know in advance it was me when you pulled me around like that? I said, no, Mimi, I know who you are. I would have never done that. But I still knew I could be that killed. But he let it go. He said, that was a pretty good punch, he says. But, all right, you didn't know it was me. It was a brawl. And he let it go. And I've let it go a few times myself. Not that I got hurt, but...
Yeah. Thank you, Sammy. There's about 1,000 people, a little over 1,000 in the chat. Can you give your viewers a contract to put a hit out on that like button?
Thank you.
The like button or the mic button?
Zing! The like button.
All right, listen, I'm
There's
putting a
new.
contract out for you guys to do me a tremendous favor, especially now before Christmas. Show these people and everybody where you're at. Let's have 100% of people press like, and as many as you people who never hit subscribe, hit the subscribe button. And if you did it before, hit it again. Well, this is your Christmas gift to me. I appreciate it. I love it. I love every second of it.
Subscribe.
And it shows these people that we're talking, we love each other, and we're having a great time of it. That's what it shows. It's not any money in my pocket, but it's that I got a loving audience and a caring audience.
Sammy, I'd like to read this super chat that just came in from Tim Silva before we sign off. Sammy, I just want to thank you for helping me get through this last year. I love my parents who are both cancer. I lost my parents who are both cancer. I'm sorry. I love my parents who are both cancer survivors, and we lost our house to a fire in March. Your videos have really helped me.
You have no idea how that comment and comments like that come in. I don't want to start with the names because then I got to mention all the names. But there's so many people telling me that. There's a woman, you know who you are. You drive a cab, and somebody they saw my picture in your cab, and you had great conversations, and you're having problems within your family, and you were praying, and I told you I'm praying with you. You know, I'm talking to you again. I know you're listening. I pray with you every day to help your family, and I really wanted to. I hope everything turns out well, you know. But not, you know, and she's up in age. When we get up in age, it's coming, bro. It's going to happen sooner or later. That's why I'm going to tell you guys this Christmas, go grab your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, hug them, kiss them. They may not be here, especially for us guys in my age bracket or up. You don't know how long you're going to be here. Try to do the right thing, and you're going to leave beautiful memories. And wherever you go, when you go, maybe you're going to take those memories with you. You know, I talk to a lot of people, and I'm talking about memories. I have an ex-girl I talk to on occasion, and we're not together, obviously, but we have memories, and we have beautiful thoughts and friendship. Hold that together. It's at this point of your life, it's a big thing. It's an important thing, especially like if she's getting older, you're getting older. Friendships are so important. Respect, love, so big. Especially in this day and age, everybody's hating on everybody, you know. So try to do that. So again, give me those like buttons.
They're just sleeping. I don't know.
Wake
what
up,
they're doing.
everybody.
Wake
Hit the
up.
like. Let's go.
Can you give Jason a shout out? It's his birthday.
Jason,
He's in here every week.
you got to shout out, Jason. Happy birthday. Love you. You know, there's another guy I was talking to. What's his name with the book that I wanted to talk about? I don't have his book yet.
Oh,
Roger?
gosh. Is it Roger?
Wait.
Which
No,
one? Karma?
Gino.
Carmine.
Gino. We did Carmine. There's another one, Gino.
Not Vecchione. I know we went through 3 of his, which is
Gino.
amazing. Gino?
I forgot about it.
Yeah.
It's okay. Think about it while they hit the like button.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's going up.
He was at the
Oh, yeah.
Bonanno family. He's got big lips. The Fiawi tribe. Yeah.
We'll get that in the new year, 2024. We'll get
You
the
know
name,
who
the
he is.
book.
We just
I know
talked
who he
about him. Gennario.
Gene Borello?
He's with Dom or something on a show. Gene Borello.
Gene Borello, yeah.
Yeah, well, you just said it now. You didn't say it before. Yeah. Gene Borello he has a book out and was asking me. So I said, send me the book. But I know he's a good kid, good guy, you know, and people are knocking him because he had an argument with a girl and the thing didn't turn out that great. But he's a good guy, tough guy, legitimate. And he's in and out of trouble. Gene, stay out of trouble. Stay away from all this garbage as much as you can. You know, you've been in jail, out of jail a couple of times already. You're still a young guy. These guys ain't a pimple on your ass, bro. Don't give them no time. Don't give them no fucking nothing. Stay strong. Stay safe. Always, my friend. And as soon as I get your book, I'm going to look at it, read it. And I know my son read it. My son was telling me about it and wanted me to talk to you. Right now, I was going to talk to you or talk about you, but I wanted the book. I didn't get the book yet. So I'm mentioning you anyway, just in case. You know, when you get old, now, I don't think we're going to be here on Christmas. No. So we're going to be shut. Then the week after that. Are we opening or are we on?
We are on break.
January 2nd and be back. You'll see everybody at the new year in 2024.
So this
Now,
Right
is
at the
that on
top.
is that on a Monday, January 2nd?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Well, we could go live on a Tuesday. Whatever you want, Sam.
All right, so let's. I
should,
mean,
yeah.
let's open up. Whatever. I don't want to because you'll go too long,
Right.
and they gotta wait. So yeah, we'll see if we can open up on Tuesday. And guys, did they do anything? I knew you were asking me to do things. and
Start singing, Sammy.
Start singing. They want you to sing. Sing Merry Christmas.
No, I don't know. I don't know how to
Chestnuts
sing Merry
roasting.
Christmas.
Everybody said they hit it from every place they could.
Yep.
Great live stream, everybody. A lot of Merry Christmas. A lot of love to you, Sam. He is not on Cameo anymore, guys. He is on Manect, Patrick Bet-David's great brand new app. You can ask him questions. You can video in. He's got his own virtual sit down. If you want to have a 30-minute session with him, it's on sale right now, 50% off. So yes, you can meet Sammy the Bull.
On the Manette?
Manect or in your own shop on ourthing.tv.
Right, right. Either place is good. And I'm still working on booze. I'm trying to hit booze, but that's a whole nother problem.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right, guys. I think we lasted as long as we could last. Love you guys. A great holidays. Not Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. We're going to start the New Year's off together. I'm going to be pretty. I love you. Adios, motherfuckers.